This is Vinnie Moore.
Hi, this is Rick Allen from Def Leppard.
This is Mike Dean from Corrosion Conformity.
This is Spider from Power Man 5000.
Hey, this is Danny. And this is Sam. We're half of Greta Van Fleet. The important half.
Hey, what's up? I'm Nick Hexum from 311.
And I am Brad Arnold from Three Doors Down, and you are watching Rock Tight.
Nah. So Chuck, Tommy, and I were just talking because you guys, maybe unbeknownst to you, but I've been on hiatus for a little bit with the Rock Titan podcast. And so, Tommy and I were talking a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me about this wild darkness. This wild darkness, everybody, that's what we're talking about. And specifically, the Notorious Memphis Reigns. I won't get into that. And it's a new EP coming out by you guys. Just the very first time you guys ever worked together. October 25th. That is the date. Is that still locked in stone? October 25th?
Yeah, it's coming out then. It's on pre-order right now. So it's like, I didn't even know. It's on iTunes, Amazon. The website is actually, by the time this comes out, the website will have been up and running.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so,
all right. All right. So, so Chuck, I was just, talking about Tommy reaching out to me a couple weeks ago. And, yeah, man, I've been on hiatus. It's been a little while. But I'm like, dude, you guys are bringing me out of hibernation. And I cannot think of anyone better to do it with. And so, everybody, again, we are here with Tommy Marz and Chuck Bartels. And like I just said, I was just talking about the new EP they have coming out. And this is a whole new collaboration. This Wild Darkness. I know you got Jack Hues on there, which everybody go check out the Jack Hues podcast we had on Rock Titan. He's a lot of fun, great guy. But so I guess, how did you guys pair up? How did you guys get together? How long have you known one another? Either one of you. Go ahead. Not long,
actually.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah, well, here, I'll just real quick, I'll just set it up. Is basically, it was one of those things where, so I'm friends with Slim Gamble from Lady A. So Slim will come into town maybe once or twice a year. He'll drop me a text and let's do that thing. And so I've seen Slim play a few times, and I knew that he had this bass player that just used to blow me, but I didn't know his name. I didn't know who it was. So, I'd walk away from that every single time just going, what in the world? Like, this guy is just like, and there'd always be like a breakdown, a solo, and I'm like, I don't know how his hands aren't falling off. So anyhow, a friend of mine goes, he goes, hey man, have you ever heard of this Sturgill Simpson record, Sound and Fury? I'm like, I knew it got nominated for a Grammy, but I was like, I never really listened to it, because what I knew of Sturgill was straight up country. So I just was like, I haven't really listened. So my buddy was like, Tommy, this is right up your alley. Like, this is straight up, even the artwork you're going to like. So I go and investigate, I listen to it and I'm going, oh my God, this record is ridiculous. It's phenomenal, everything about it. But the thing that my ear kept going to was the drums and the bass. I'm like, who is playing bass guitar on this thing? I'm like, this is like the best bass I've ever heard. Anyway, so the Google machine, I figure it out. I'm like, it's Chuck Bartels. So I'm like, I'm kind of sitting around and I'm writing these songs. I had the one with Scotti Hill already finished, and Jeff and I were working on this other one, Dawn Rider, which is coming out tomorrow. Oh, right. And and Scotty asked me, he goes, hey, who are you thinking about the bass for this? And I go, I just heard this guy, and he played and co-produced on this Sturgill record. I was like, do you know it? He's like, yeah, I know the record. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna reach out to this guy, just like cold call. So I send Chuck a DM. He doesn't know who I am, but I send him a DM.
That's wild. And
this guy's such a nice guy. It wasn't even that long later. He DMs me back and is like, here's my number. Give me a call. And then we live not too far. We live like 30, not even 30 minutes away, maybe 20 minutes away.
Oh, get out. That's wild.
And so it's like, yeah. So it's like, hey, you want to come over and play? And then
you want to come
there
play?
It is. That's kind of how it happened. Yeah, man.
Wow. All right. So that's Tommy's story, Chuck. Why did you want to even entertain the idea of working with him? Like, what was it for you that said, you know what, this seems like it could be cool?
Just him reaching out and just having a conversation with him. Obviously, just talking to him on the phone, I could get somewhat of a feel that he was a cool guy, and it wasn't like a serial killer den or anything, and But he seemed really cool. He saw me play with Slim, and I checked out some of his stuff as well, because he's got a lot of material. Right. And I thought, wow, this is going to be neat. Now, I didn't know what it would be going in, but I thought, let's do it, and give it a shot. And it turned out to be a lot of fun. The whole process has been really cool up to this point. But yeah, there's not, I'm a pretty laid back guy. If someone wants to work with me, generally I'll do it. I'll give it a shot,
Yeah. Now, did you guys find like immediate chemistry? Did you guys find that the chemistry was like immediately there? Or did it take some work?
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. I mean, he made me feel like I couldn't play a wrong note even if I tried. He was very accommodating and no idea was off the table, which, I appreciate that when someone at least, is open to different things. And so it was pretty smooth, Sometimes you get lucky. What can I say?
Now, Tommy.
Yeah, well, I just want to say well, I'm sorry. Yeah, so with his playing though, so Chuck, I don't know that he knows. Well, I'm sure he knows it, but I think he has better timing also than pretty much any drummer I've ever been with, because he does this thing. He has this kind of, and it's keeping time. I'm sure he knows the way he plays, but I was sitting there kind of in awe because we have a click going on as we're recording, but it's dead on balls to the click. What his timing is just, I think, with the drummer, you either have that or you don't have that internal clock. Chuck, absolutely. I don't know if he plays drums, but he has that internal clock. So as he's playing, and he kind of looks up at me, and I'm just kind of like, I think he maybe saw my jaw to the ground. He goes, "Hey, does that work for you?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "Yep, that's awesome."
That's a lot of 70s bass players, which is pretty much where I live as a musician.
Okay.
A lot of the kind of James Jamerson, Chuck Rainey, Wilton Felder type cats. They all kind of had that 16th note vibe where, you weren't always necessarily hearing 16th notes because that could be a bit much, but you were feeling it. You were feeling it in the pulse where you kind of get this like, and then the bass kind of ticker tapes around that with syncopations and whatnot. That's how I hear stuff, for better or worse. I don't know.
Now, you a 4-string bass guy, 5-string bass guy, something even wilder than that?
I was a 5-string guy for a long time until I joined Sturgill's band, and it was kind of made known to me that the 70s thing is ideal, and I've had a 70s P bass forever, and I just never played it.
Dig it.
And once I started playing it, I never picked the 5 up again. So now I'm a 4-string guy. I have a 5 if I do a wedding or something where I'll break it out, but I really don't want to.
Gotcha.
I got basically 4-string, two Fender basses I play 99% of the time now.
Now, Tommy, when you started writing the Notorious Memphis Reigns, out October 25th, everybody, and you can get it on pre-order right now, and I suggest you do because this 5-song EP kicks ass. I love it. I think it's great, but I've already told you this, Tommy, when I got the advanced listening of it. But so when you were writing this, did you already have kind of that outlaw rock theme on your mind? Like, was that the intent when you were going in, or was it one of those things where after you were really done writing it and you actually start putting music to the the whole theme of it, if you will, that outlaw rock just kind of made sense? Where did that come from?
Man, good question. So what had happened was, so I was kind of doing the pop music thing for about 2 years,
right.
And I just went back to back on 2 pop songs charting, on Billboard and stuff, and
kudos to you,
they're both
dude.
on the radio. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was surprised too, but they're both on the radio at the same time and stuff, and management company I'm working with, was kind of like, all right, let's get this 3rd single, man. Let's go. Like, we got this. This is go time, and they're right. You should, but I guess it's the self-sabotage. I don't know what it is, but in my head was I need to write some dark rock songs because pop songs tend to be a little shinier. It's a little more, I think, upbeat, optimistic. So anyhow, one day we lost power here, and I just had this acoustic guitar, and I was playing it, blah blah blah, and I came up with this little thing, and so I put it on Instagram. I don't have any power, but I'm just playing it. So anyhow, I've been trying to write this Crossroads type of song for years, and every time I write it, it just sounded really, really cringy, like really just like I was contrived, like I was really trying to write a Crossroads song. But I was like, nah, that's not how you do it, man. Like it either happens or don't.
Right.
Anyway, so I came with this little riff, and so one day I'm just like, I'm kind of writing, and then it just happened, and I wrote the whole thing, and I was like, wow, I kind of like this. So I'm talking to Scotty, that's Scotti Hill. He's a guitar player for Skid Row. So I'm talking to him one day, and he goes, hey, what was that thing? Because we were talking about the Marz. He actually helped me pick out the acoustic guitar. Because I went to him for help. I was like, dude, I want to buy a new acoustic. What do you think? What do you play? And blah, blah, blah. So long story short on that, he asked me about it and said, hey, I think I finally wrote that Crossroads song I've been trying to write. And he's like, so what do you think? And I'm like, I think it needs a slide guitar. And I said, do you play slide? And he's like, yes, I do. And I was like, do you want to have a go at it? Because that would be awesome. And he was just like, yes, I do. So he was like, hey, can you send me what you have? So I sent it over. Of course, and the track is bare. I mean, that's right, Chuck, that's right. You weren't even on the bass yet. This was before you even laid the bass on it. So it's just drums and acoustic guitar and a scratch vocal. And Scotty sends over this whole guitar piece for the whole song. And it's like amazing. You heard, like, it's his slide is just, it's crazy. So anyhow, so that kind of happened. And then Chuck, our world kind of they collided there. And I knew as soon as I heard Chuck play when we were doing the Wild Darkness, I'm like, this guy is, and I've been around a few, really good people in my life. He's the best bass player I ever heard. Not even close. And here's something that Chuck is going to get embarrassed about. So my producer, my engineer, the one that produces my pop songs, he's in Los Angeles. So I'm sending him tracks. We're going back and forth and blah, blah, blah. So when we get to, I think it was Phantom Moon it was like the third song, I think.
That's my favorite one. Phantom Moon's my favorite one, dude. I told you. You got that typo negative vibe, So, I'm telling you, man. Chuck, what do you think, man? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Phantom Moon was one of the first ones Tommy shared with me. It was a while ago. He's like, if you want to check it out, and I knew it was going to be cool, but man, it exceeded all my expectations. Holy cow! And that just proceeded to frustrate the hell out of me because I knew I couldn't share it. So it was like So I just tried to forget about it. Just like my wife heard it. Sorry, my wife heard it.
Yeah.
It, only in the household, but I just haven't said anything to anybody, until we did the announcement, and had to do the same thing with the Sound and Fury record too. And I almost don't want to get it ahead of time because I have a hard time, not sharing it. So, but I'm not.
Phantom Moon's awesome, man. That's my favorite track, like by far. So, all right. So we talked about Scotti Hill obviously being on this. We know Chuck got your contribution, and I mentioned that Jack Hues was also on this. How did this whole cast of people come about? And I mean, I guess the bigger thing is, so this Wild Darkness, that's the band, yeah. I mean, that's what you're putting together, like this. Now, what did you call this? This isn't a collaborative. What are we calling this? The
super collab.
The super collab. Super collab. Yeah.
Because the super group thing, I think it's like, do you know when like if you say you're the GOAT? Yeah, if you say you're the GOAT, it just doesn't hold water. If other people want to say Michael Jordan's the GOAT, that's great. But Michael Jordan's not going to say he's the GOAT. You know what I mean? So if somebody else wants to say, yeah, cool, super group, fine. I don't want to say it because I think it sounds kind of, I don't know if I'm allowed to say douchey on this, but it seems a little douchey.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a little overdone, I have to say. But there are some collaborations, with a lot of very talented artists out there that are just awesome, and I mean, it's great that they do have the opportunity to play together. Now, one other question I have, and I want to be sensitive to you guys' time here. Have there been discussions or thoughts about supporting this live? Like, are you, like going beyond just the studio? You guys looking to get together and get out and maybe do a limited tour or anything like that?
Well, there was, I would say at the beginning. Actually, you know what? I have to tell you something real quick. I just want to finish up the thing about Electropoint is because I want to pay Chuck this compliment because this guy Electropoint is he mixed the record, and he's if you look him up, all the scores he's doing for Disney, Hulu, Netflix. I mean, this guy is truly works with some world class orchestras. He's amazing,
Wow.
He literally calls me. I send him the bass stems for Phantom Moon.
Mm-hmm.
He calls me up and he goes, and I don't want to sound bad, but he goes like, I don't know where you found this guy, but oh my God. And we're just having this conversation. He's like, I'm like, dude, this is the best bass playing I've ever heard. He goes, it's the best I've ever heard. Like, it's just incredible. And I urge people, go listen to that intro or the outro of Phantom Moon. Try to focus on the bass if you can. You're going to hear something very special. You're going to hear something that's like, you know, it walked out of John Paul Jones's locker. You know what I mean? It's just something. I don't know, man. It just blew me away.
You're getting red there, Chuck. You're getting red.
My wife will keep it real. I'll tell her what you said upstairs, and she'll be like, so.
Oh man. So there was talk. I mean, like, I think at the beginning, you know, when you're first done with these things, I think the excitement's there and everybody kind of wants to do stuff. And then, you know, these guys, you know, they're in bands and they got projects and everybody's got projects. I think on a smaller level, I think it was always going to be, let's play LA, let's play a Detroit show. Cause you know, Chuck and I are both in Detroit market and, it's kind of been my bread and butter ever since, you know, I've been playing. Like, you go out regionally or whatever it is, you know, maybe down south and you play. And if you're going by yourself, if you're not like a direct support for somebody really big, it can be a little challenging. But Detroit's always been really good for me personally. And I know Chuck is like, you know, he's a legend here. I mean, I think at one point, and I don't know this for sure, Chuck, so I'm not trying to speak for you, but I think at one point Chuck was nominated and won a DMA for bass. I don't even think he knew. You know what I mean? I don't think he knows just how great everybody knows that he is. That's how I'm telling you, this man is, and I'm not just saying it because he's on the record.
Well, I can totally relate to that, Tommy, because I got to tell you, man, I don't know how great I am. You know, I'm not even aware of my own magnificence. You know, it's just one of those things that just completely eludes me. And Chuck, you know, I mean, you're probably the same way. You just don't realize how awesome you are. It takes someone like Tommy to make you aware, because we're certainly not going to hear it from our wives, right? They're going to keep us in check. Oh, you think you're all that? Get out of here.
Take out the trash.
Yeah, right? Oh, my God.
Right. Take out the trash.
That's fun. Yeah. All right. So, in terms of what we have going on, so you were just talking about another single off the Notorious Memphis Reigns is going to be coming out here? Yeah?
So Dawn Rider comes out actually tomorrow. So today that we're doing this, I don't know if you really want me to say this, but the day that we're doing this on a Tuesday.
Okay. All right. We're doing this on a Tuesday, but you don't know what the date is. So
you don't know what the date is.
When is that coming out?
So Dawn Rider actually comes out, today's Tuesday, actually comes out tomorrow Wednesday. And,
you're killing me.
You know, there's going to be a second single, and that's the Wild Darkness. That's the one with Scotty on it. So that's Chuck, Scotty, and I in that one. And so that one's coming out October, I believe it's 16th. That's also Wednesday. And then the album itself comes out on the 25th, which is a Friday. So that very next week. And then the focus track, when the album comes out, is and I know there's only 5 tracks, but the focus track is actually Phantom Moon. You know, it's one of those things that it's a very long song. It was up to almost 8 minutes. I don't know if you remember that, Chuck, but it was almost 8 minutes long when we first were doing it. Wow. Yeah. And so Jack had called me and, you know, we said, hey, let's, we're on a Skype, like with notes, like, you know, our scalpels. Okay, how are we going to dissect this? I mean, not to make it like radio friendly, but, you know, we can't be Inagata Vita here. You can't have a whole side for one song, you know? So we start cutting things here and there, like coming out of the first chorus. There was another, you know, 4 bars of music. Let's cut that out. There was another acoustic guitar solo. We cut that out. And, you know, just try to get it down to 5 something. And I think it's 5:50 maybe. But we decided, let's make that the focus track. And what that means is when the album comes out, that's the one we're going to be talking about, because I think all of us know how great it is. And it's great because, you know, Jack is, you know, people know him from Wang Chung, which they should, because Wang Chung's legendary. I'm a huge Wang Chung fan. But for my money, Primitive is one of the greatest albums. It's in my tops, you know, of 50 all time. Like, there's songs at Wistable Beach, and, you know, there's Spring, and there's so many things. It's a 4-sided album, double LP.
Right on.
And it's just, Jack is a superlative songwriter. And when I asked him, I was like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but him and I did something before. We did on For the Crew, the charity show. I played drums and we did a Wang Chung song. So we've been talking about doing something for a while. And I was like, hey, do you want to sing a verse on this kind of track, whatever? And he was like, yeah. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, do you want to write your verse on this? Because it'd be cooler if you wrote what you wanted to sing. So I sent him the track, and I didn't hear from him for like 10 days, and I was like, okay, so he hated it. That sucks, but I get it. It's the business. But then he calls me out of the blue, and he's like, Tommy, all I've been listening to is that song. I've been riding my bike, but I came up with an idea, like based on the whole darkness concept. So he goes, do you mind if I ship over my idea? And I'm just like, yes, please send it over. So he sends it, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is ridiculous. So I say, hey, Jack, how about this? Can you just sing the whole song as a demo, just so I can kind of just learn it? He's like, yeah. So he sends me over everything, because I think he's a perfectionist, and he's got harmonies, he's got chorus, he's got bridge, he's got everything, right? Or it's not really a bridge, it's the outro, but it's like a pseudo outro bridge. Anyway, bridge to the next song. So I'm listening to it, and I go, hey man, I think you should sing the whole song. And we're on a Skype or a Zoom or whatever, and his head's going, nope. I'm like, no, just hear me, just dude, listen. He's like, nope. And he's like, nice. He's really super proper, and you've talked to him, so he's very proper in the way he speaks. Yeah, right. Yep. He's just like, you're a lovely guy, Nate. He's just so proper. Yeah. And but he's doing it in his proper way, but he's still like no dice. So he goes, how about you sing the first and the third, and I'll sing the second. And I'm just like, nah, man. So like, how about you do the first and second, I'll do the third. And we were just kind of going like a while, going back and forth. I said, I don't even want to be on the song. I just want to do harmonies because you're so good. So finally, he's like, Tommy, like almost in a way, you have to do the third verse. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to rewrite it a little bit just to fit what I sing about, whatever. Because like I said, he's got the end of days. He's got Kali Yuga. He's got philosophical references that I don't even know. I had to Google it. I'm like, sure. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is deep, So that's how it worked out, with that part there. But when I sent everything over to him, one of the first things he said was, wow, that bass track is really amazing. I'm like, I know. I feel like I've got like the secret weapon on this record. It's really
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, he said it. I didn't provoke him. Man. I didn't go, hey, man, how about that bass? He said it on his own. And I was like, dude, I'm telling you, man.
Killer. Now, one final thing I want to kind of see what's going on here. Official music videos. Have there been any thoughts of doing that? Have you already done one in support of this? Where are you guys at with that?
Yeah, sorry, Chuck. I want Chuck to talk about the things I kind of know about this stuff. So there's a visualizer coming out. Yeah, so a visualizer with for Dawn Rider, which is
okay.
Like it's not a music video, so there's lyrics, but then I wanted to do one cut. Yeah, so it's a one cut where I'm playing just on a chair in a dark room, and so no cuts in it though, just where it stays. So we did a couple passes at it. It's okay, but I was supposed to be blurry through the whole thing. That was the whole concept. But then Jason kind of brought me back in a couple times, which I don't know.
Right
I don't know. I'm feeling a little about it, but
I feel you. Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a visualizer has a character in it, and then the Wild Darkness kind of created something based off of the album cover. So again, it's lyrics, and the album cover has some movements. I think that's probably going to be it. I think Phantom Moon trying to do something for that would be, well, it deserves to be like a Marvel movie, so there's no way I could do it.
That's awesome. Well, very cool, man. Very cool. Tommy, Chuck, thank you so much for joining me on Rock Titan. And everybody, if you enjoyed this podcast every bit as much as I know you have, show us a little bit of love and go check out all things Tommy Marz and Chuck Bartels, because these guys are amazing musicians. Now, you were talking earlier, Tommy, about the website you guys got ready to pop up here. What is this? Where can we direct everybody?
So thiswilddarkness.com.
Aha. All right,
and there's going to be so it's pre-order right now on Amazon and iTunes. It's available for pre-order. There's going to be a limited edition vinyl. And it's going to be very limited. It's not something trying to get out there and sell 1,000 copies. It's going to be very limited. So, if anybody's watching that, if they know me and they want me to sign one up for them, I'm more than happy to do it. It's great. But hey, I want to say to you, welcome back, man. You've been away a while, Scotty.
Yes.
You're one of my favorite guys out there. I watch your stuff. I listen to your stuff. I love the interviews that you have. And it's been a while, man. I'm glad to see you back. And I hope you're back for good, man. Because, the rock world, man, it needs you, bro. It needs, and I mean that. It needs you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Man, I think I'm getting a little red here, Chuck, all the flattery from Tommy here. I don't know, man. I'm going to have to, we're going to have to talk more, we're going to have to talk more regularly.
That's true.
Oh, man. But again, everybody, the Notorious Memphis Reigns out October 25th by This Wild Darkness. Everybody, again, we are here with Tommy and Chuck. I am Scotty J. You are watching Rock Titan. We're out.